I've had this app for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 7 o'clock on the dot, and this is LidLine Sports. Hello, everybody. Welcome to LidLine Sports here on Rainier Avenue Radio World, broadcasting live from the beautiful facilities here in downtown Columbia City in the south end of Seattle. I am Pep, and we have O here tonight. The Packard is running. What's up?
I'm back in the studio, man. What's good, Pep? How you doing?
I'm good. Have you been excited watching the basketball for the NCAA men's and women's?
Oh, it's been super fun. I'm actually glad to see. It's always fun, especially when it's a random group of teams that make it to the Final Four. I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, there's no blue bloods in it, but that's what makes this tournament so great.
And it's funny. There's for both, for the men and women, the blue bloods have been knocked out for the most part.
Yeah.
And for the women, there's no Stanford. No
UConn.
No UConn. So, but South Carolina is there.
LSU still in there. Yeah.
So they won. So, in honor of Women's History Month, we shall talk about the women's tournament first. We have one game going on right now with Virginia Tech taking on Ohio State. And, can you give me an update on that?
The score is 45-48. Virginia Tech just made a run to close out the first half.
Oh, okay. Nice. And you know what I like about the women's? I like that they have quarters instead of halves, like the NBA. I like that.
Well, I like that because they have. I don't know if this is because they have quarters or whatnot, but like at the end or the last 2 minutes or I think 1 minute, they get to advance the ball on timeouts. So I hope college basketball gets to pick up on that because I think it will make the game a lot more suspenseful. It's fun that the NCAA Division I basketball, I feel like they're picking up this. I don't know how to put it, but they're famous for the 3/4 court and half court buzzer beater shots.
Yeah.
So I get that. I just think it'll make it a little more, like I said, it just brings a little more excitement to the end of the game.
Yes.
Be able to advance it.
Indeed. So 3 teams are in for the Final Four of the women's. South Carolina got that done today. So they will join Iowa, and actually they will play Iowa Friday. And then, of course, you got LSU already in. Who do they beat?
LSU beat Maryland.
South Carolina.
Oh, no, South Carolina beat Maryland. LSU beat Miami. And
right,
I was actually
Miami. Yes. 54-42. So they won that. And so now we're just, like I said earlier, we're waiting on Virginia Tech and Ohio State. Either one will be pretty formidable, whoever plays LSU.
I'm really interested to see how LSU, with only 2 losses, got a 3 seed, and one of those losses was to
South Carolina.
So yeah. I'm confused by that a little bit. But I know I didn't watch too much college basketball. Maybe somebody out there who's listening can explain that to me, how they got a 3 seed. But yeah, I was confused by that.
Yeah, that is pretty shocking.
Yeah, 32-2, and they're a 3 seed, not a 2 seed. They're a 3 seed.
So did you happen to see the game here in Seattle yesterday, Iowa and Louisville? I didn't get to see the game, but I did watch the highlights this morning.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark for Iowa was unstoppable.
She's a real deal.
Yes. She had 41, 10 assists or 10 rebounds, 12 assists, whatever. A 40-point triple-double. She's the first one to ever do that. But she's been lightning in the ball all season, so it's no surprise.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's got a Diana Taurasi game, right? But I guess she's got a little Sue Bird in her too with all the assists.
Yeah.
And then plus she's got some Steph Curry because she's got that range. She is dynamite. I enjoyed watching her. It was a good battle between her and Haley Van Lith. Van Lith from Louisville by way of Kashmir, Washington. She had 27, but that was mostly trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Iowa had the game pretty much in control since the opening start of the first quarter. They pulled away pretty much in the second quarter and then kept it going throughout. Louisville did get it within one at 48-47 at one time, but then after that, it was all Iowa. So now we have the matchup. We have Iowa and South Carolina Friday in Dallas. You know what I also like? I like the fact that the men's tournament, the Final Four is in Houston, and the women's are in Dallas. That's pretty cool. I like that.
And then I wanted to say too, man, just watching some of these women's games over this last week. Oh my gosh, the WNBA is going to hit new heights in this next 5 to 10
I'm
years.
Excited.
Oh my goodness,
especially with Clark coming in, and then you got Aaliyah Boston coming in, and a myriad of others.
Angel Reese on the way in 2 years. Like that's what, like in the next 5. That's what I said, 5 to 10 years. Like, I mean, the level of competition to play the WNBA is already good. If you don't watch WNBA basketball, you need to. The skill set is really high.
These women can play.
Yes, exactly. But now you're about to see a broader range of high talent. Yeah, man. The WNBA is in good hands coming up.
It sure is. And so the Seattle Storm, as mentioned in WNBA, they picked 9th this year.
Oh yeah. The draft's coming up soon.
Yeah, the draft comes up April 10th.
Okay,
which is a Monday. So that's in a couple of weeks. It's also somebody I know's birthday. Yeah, the same day. Yes. Same day.
Yeah. Birthday, Dorian. Well, we'll be able to say happy birthday on Monday. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll show up. I'll show up. We'll probably celebrate it over the weekend.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice.
We'll do that. So anyway, so the women's tournament, like I said, is about to finish as far as the final seed for the last seed, for the Final Four, either Virginia Tech or Ohio State. Right now, Ohio State is leading, right?
Yes. No. I'm sorry.
Virginia
Tech made a run, and they are up 3 at half.
Okay.
48-45.
Yeah.
High scoring game.
So this second half should be a barn burner, and then they play LSU, whoever wins this. So, any predictions?
It's kind of hard to go against Dawn Staley in South Carolina.
Correct.
But man, Iowa, just like they can score with anybody in NCAA, so it's gonna be a good test for them. But it's like I said, it's hard against South Carolina, and I haven't really got to see Virginia Tech or Ohio State play until today. I've seen LSU a couple of times because the Angel Reese story.
Right. Heck, I remember when their coach Kim Mulkey was playing.
Okay.
Herself.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was good. She was like a little 5'4" point guard, and she was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know about. I guess I'll come back to you on Monday when was the game on Friday?
The game's on Friday.
Friday, okay.
The Iowa.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say we got LSU South Carolina rematch.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but of course, I wouldn't be surprised if any of the other two, Virginia Tech or Ohio State. I will be tuned in Friday for that South Carolina Iowa, because I got to see what Caitlin Clark can do against South Carolina's got a vaunted defense, so they're going to be tough to match up with. So we'll see if they can frustrate her and get her out of her game. So that should be pretty wild. And of course, the championship game is Sunday in Dallas. Okay. So, and then of course we know the men's final will be going on while we are on the air. So as usual, that's the way it goes for us. But we're dedicated. We're going to be here, while the game is going on.
Yeah, we're going to be watching it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we might be distracted. So don't get mad at us. Don't get mad at us.
Speaking on men's,
yes,
boy, oh boy, do we have not just upsets, just a total shocker when it comes to the 4 teams that are remaining.
Well, let me tell you, I mean, if you didn't have San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, Miami, and UConn like I did, I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
I need proof. I need proof. That's what's on your bracket.
Oh, but hey, man, I'm sticking with it, bro. That's what I had.
If I would say out of these 4 teams, the team that I am not surprised made it this far was UConn.
Yes. And they are the highest seed right now.
Yes, number 4 seed, and they were honestly at a point playing well enough in the season where they would be a 1 or 2 seed in the season. They went on a little slump, but I know they were actually talking to oh man, I can't think of Danny Hurley about it, and he kind of gave credit to the Big East, which was a really good conference this year.
Absolutely,
especially the top half with Marquette, Xavier, UConn, Creighton. Those are 4 teams that pretty much all made it to the Sweet 16 besides Marquette.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, he just said it was a monster playing in the Big East this year. But he said they found their way back towards the end of the Big East regular season.
Right.
And they have proven that they are a top team in college basketball this year. So yeah.
So they're probably going to be, since they are the highest seed remaining, they're probably the favorites.
They are
to win.
Oh, to win it all, yeah.
So no surprise there.
Who are you most surprised out of?
It's got to be Florida Atlantic.
Okay, yep.
It has to be because last week I called them again. When they were going to play Tennessee, I said that might be a yawn fest.
I did too.
Boy, was I wrong. Boy, I was way off on that one. So I apologize for fans of Florida Atlantic. And do you know where they are?
Boca Raton.
Yes, Boca Raton.
Down by Miami, right?
Yes, okay. It's about 50 minutes outside of Miami.
I just found that out yesterday. So.
Yeah. Well, so did I. I looked it up. Just like you did. Man, I ain't going to front and say like, oh, yeah, I know this all the time.
Okay.
I mean, like I had the Final Four, of course. But.
Better question. Out of all the Elite 8 games, besides that Tennessee game and FAU, what other game were you more surprised about the outcome?
Oh, San Diego beating Alabama the way they did. Man, I was like, what? And then, Brandon Miller was terrible. 3 of 19.
So I know coming into the NCAA tournament that he was having a hamstring or growing injury.
Okay.
So he did not have a good tournament at all.
No.
So I wonder if that really took a toll on him.
It must have. But, big upset he didn't use as
oh yeah
he didn't say anything about it.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that was a big factor. There was a meme about him saying that with the gun incident, we know that he wasn't the shooter.
Exactly,
because he was 3 for 19 in the last game, and
true.
he didn't shoot funny. Well in any of the games that they played. So it is.
I'm gonna say I am really surprised that Miami is here, but not because they beat Texas, but because of who they had to beat to even get here.
Well, and plus they had to come back. They were down 13 in the second half.
So they started out playing Drake, who's a pretty solid team, and then beating Indiana, who was a really good Big Ten team, but then beating Houston, who was the favorite coming into this tournament.
Yes.
And then turn around and beating Texas, who was probably one of the hottest teams coming into this tournament. Man, that's going to be a really tough game between them and they play – not Florida Atlantic, so they play. Oh man, it's at the top of my tongue. Help me out, Pep. Oh, San Diego State. No, they play UConn. I think that's actually going to be a tough game because once again, 2 contrasting styles of play. You got UConn who can slow it down and is a better defensive team, and then Miami, which I think was a difference between them against not Texas. Who they played before Texas? I just said it. I'm off everything today.
It's all right. It happens.
When they played Houston, they controlled the tempo of the game. They wanted to get up and down. Can Houston play like that? Yeah, but we all know that their bread and butter is defensively. So to see them was able to control the tempo, they're gonna have to do the same thing against UConn.
Yeah, Houston kind of disappointed me because you figure, with the Final Four being in Houston, you think they'd have some motivation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess, when you run up against a team that plays better than you, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Right. And in Texas, they're not from Houston, but it's still Houston, Texas. So I thought
been a home game.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. So I thought that might help them, but nope. Miami said,
But that's what we love about the NCAA tournament, though. It's
We do.
don't have, it's not a 7 or 5 game series. You don't have an extra game to be able to make up any mistakes. Everything is so critical in a 1 game series, win or go home.
Yeah.
So
I like what the coach from Maryland said this afternoon
Mhm.
before the game, saying, look, we don't have to beat them 5 out of 6. We just
Mhm.
have to beat them this one time
exactly.
for 40 minutes. Unfortunately for them, it didn't happen because, there is a juggernaut over there on the women's side, and that's South Carolina.
Mhm.
They're 36-0 right now, and everybody else is 4, 5, 6 losses.
Man.
That tells you how good they are.
Mhm.
And listen, they haven't been playing cupcakes either. They beat, LSU and whatever. So, man, they beat LSU
Handily.
by 25.
Yeah, I
They
was about to say,
smoked
they
them
blew 'em out.
I think it was in where
Baton Rouge? Wow,
I think
okay.
it was there.
Okay.
So, boy,
Yeah, man. It's that's why I know, like I said, going back to, a lot of people talked about, this Final Four is not going to be fun to watch because, there's no Kansas or Duke or.
I'm glad it's not.
Exactly. I think the total opposite. That's what makes this so fun and for you to want to tune in, because you may think who's going to win because of a blue blood or what somebody has done all season. None of that matters in the NCAA tournament.
None of it.
None of it matters.
And it's so cool because San Diego State or Florida Atlantic, one of them is guaranteed to be in the final.
Yes.
So that's a team you don't expect to be in the final, and they're going to be in the final for sure.
And it's been fun watching Florida Atlantic. First of all, I didn't know that they only lost 3 games to come into this tournament.
Nor did I.
And they play in a pretty decent conference too as well. So it's not like they played a whole bunch of cakewalk games before.
And they got a pretty respectful seed,
Yeah.
For that team. I mean, they were a 9 seed. So a lot of teams that I know, like Princeton was a 15 seed.
Yep.
Yeah. So, a 9 seed, that's pretty good, especially for a team that you don't hear about a whole lot.
You know what else I noticed?
What's that?
They're young. I think they start 3 sophomores and 1 freshman.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. So now you're talking about, if the head coach returns, you're talking about a team that can run this back again possibly and add on to what they did this year and be really good for the next 2 to 3 years. So yeah, that's really impressive. Usually you see, when especially like small schools, you usually see a bunch of juniors and seniors like San Diego State.
Yes.
You don't see a young team as a small school marching all the way to the Final Four.
Boy.
So that's really impressive.
They're playing with house money.
Exactly.
They got nothing. Really, they got nothing to lose. Even if they get defeated by San Diego State, you still got to give them their flowers for how far they've gotten and, the experience that they've had. So, yeah, why not run it back?
Exactly. Now, starting there, we got Florida Atlantic and San Diego State.
Yes, sir.
Who do you got coming out of that game?
Well, I kind of clowned them, last week. So, I do have some affinity for San Diego State because, I spent a lot of time down there, when I was in the Navy.
Okay.
So I was staying in San Diego. And of course, back then, San Diego State was known as the party school, and rightly so, because, man, whoa, boy.
Any stories you can share with us?
I cannot and will not. I saw that look and I knew what you were going to ask me, but there will be no stories shared. But I had a great time. And so I'm going to root for San Diego State. But, I kind of have some kind of rooting interest also for Florida Atlantic too, because of how far, for what they've done, how far they've come.
Definitely.
So I won't be mad if San Diego State loses.
I will say, out of the 4 remaining teams, I'm pretty sure at this point, Florida Atlantic is America's team. That's who everybody will probably,
just like Loyola Chicago
exactly
as at one time,
exactly.
Right? Sister Jean, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, to see that Florida Atlantic, they already contemplated a team similar to San Diego State and Tennessee, and to see what they did to them defensively, man, It's so tough to really pick this game, man.
Yeah.
But you go on the other side. You just saw a San Diego State slow down probably one of the best offensive teams in college basketball. So once again, it's two contrasting styles of play, man. Give me the experience. I'm gonna take San Diego State making it to the national championship.
I'm kind of.
It's a tough one. It is so
and
tough.
I just thought about something. What if Florida Atlantic wins, right?
Oh, in Miami.
And Miami.
Now we get now we start to open a new rivalry.
Yes,
they have to play each other next year. There has to be a contract.
Man, that would be
them playing
so
each other.
awesome.
Yeah,
especially really cool. South Florida go nuts. Man.
So now we have Miami and UConn, even tougher.
I know. It's like, okay, we just got a tough choice in the first game. Now this is not easy.
Oh man, it's not.
Man. I mean, you want to. I mean, you look at UConn and what they've done throughout the tournament. They look like they're the team to beat. But then you look at Miami and their athletes and their guards, and in this tournament, you have to have good guard play, or you don't have a shot. And so, man, I'm gonna say UConn, but reluctantly because it's gonna be tough. I got UConn winning.
I've been thinking about this one before we came in here, but going back and watching or just remembering that Miami game against Texas. Now Texas pretty much had a hold of this game until like the last 6 minutes of the game, and Miami just went on a crazy run.
Yes.
So yes, I'm gonna also agree with you again, and I'm gonna say that UConn wins this game. I do think it'll be a little similar to UConn having a chokehold on this game for the majority of the game, but they will close out, and I think that they will march on to the national championship because once again, this is a team that can defend, but they also have guys that can score.
Right.
Jordan Hawkins is one of the best 3-point shooters,
and these teams are familiar with each other because of the Big East.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Miami.
Oh no, Miami's in the ACC.
No, I know now, but I mean when they were in the Big East.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
So they're definitely. I'm not sure when's the last time they played, but they're definitely as programs playing against each other. They are definitely familiar. So should be pretty interesting. And I like the way Danny Hurley conducts himself for UConn as the coach. And I told you guys last week. How I sat with Danny Hurley's dad, Bob Hurley, one time at a high school game. The whole game, him and I were chopping it up. Okay. It was pretty cool. So, and of course, Bobby's at Arizona State, right? Yes. So it's good to see the Hurleys coaching and being successful. So I like that, and I like Danny. I like his philosophy. I like the way he conducted the interview yesterday on TV. On live TV during the halftime game, trying to see, waiting to see who was going to play between Miami and Texas. I like the way he was answering the questions. He was so cool and calm, but insightful. He doesn't just give you short, quick answers.
Yeah.
He gives you some good detail. So I enjoyed that very much. So shout out to Danny Hurley for that.
Now I do want to go back and talk about that FAU Kansas State game.
Oh, by all means.
My goodness. I think that was the best game in the tournament.
It was fire.
Only just, the back and forth action, the shot making ability.
I'm so glad I was watching it.
Yes.
I hate saying, I didn't see it. I had to see the highlights. I know you guys are tired of hearing that. And so am I. So I definitely watched it. It was awesome.
Got to give a shout out to Marquise Noel and his tournament run.
Yes. New York City kid.
Yes. Harlem.
Yes.
To be exact. Yeah,
right.
man. I hope, man, I don't know what the age group is on those guys. I think Marquise Noel is a senior, so I don't think he's coming back.
Right.
I was rooting for them to win the national championship because of the run that they're making. I like their head coach. He's really animated. You can tell he really cares about his kids. But man, to see Florida Atlanta pull that out once again, we're talking about a small school who's not been on the stage before.
And those guys, they were just like going back and forth,
Back
like,
and forth.
like this is ball. We're just
Man.
balling, like right, like at Green Lake or something.
Yes,
We're
exactly.
just balling.
And it's a gift because you don't really get to see shot making ability on the college level too much because it is a lot of plays and things like that. So
Mhm.
getting to see two coaches allow their players to play. And this was also after, I can't believe, shame on De'Aaron Fox for saying this. I don't know if you saw.
Yes,
Yeah, this was right after he said that he can't watch college basketball
he's got to be
because
crazy.
of the shot making ability and the bad reffing and the bad coaching. I can't believe he said that. I just couldn't believe he said that. So.
Look, he's got it mixed up. It's the NBA that's hard to watch, especially during the regular season. Playoffs, I can watch, but regular season, bro, I cannot get through a whole NBA game.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
And some things he said, I mean, it was like, okay, it's obvious. Like, of course, maybe the shot making ability isn't going to be as good as professional level basketball players. But to say that it's not good at all is crazy because you once was there and played there, and you were really good on the college level too. So,
and the whole tournament has been laid
really
with
great
shot making ability,
Yeah.
and upsets and whatnot. So how can you not be excited for
Yeah.
that?
And he got burned for that. A lot of people went crazy about that on social media. I'm glad he did. I know it's not the biggest of deals, but I'm glad
it's a
people
big
got
deal
on
because
him.
I saw it and I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm glad people got on him for
Yeah,
that because I
for
just
sure.
couldn't believe he said that.
For sure. So this Saturday.
Okay.
Yep, is when the men start their Final Four action down in H-Town.
I'll be watching that.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And then Monday at what time?
Eastern, probably 9 o'clock Eastern,
Okay.
something like
So 6
that.
o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm thinking 6 o'clock. So I'll probably watch a few minutes at home, but I probably won't get to see much because they'll be doing all the pregame festivities and all that and yapping. We'll be talking about who's going to be the upset or whatever. Could it be FAU versus Miami? If it's that, then that's going to be the South Florida thing, or if it's UConn and whoever.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's going to be like that. So anyway, we're going to take a break right now. But when we come back, of course, we're going to get into a little bit of NFL. And of course, O is going to go into overtime with some NBA. So don't go away. We shall return.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, all day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Start Time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson. This is Start Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour, K-Fox Night.
Looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the Fox.
Fresh Juice with D-Money in the group.
Myself, D-Money. Pint-Size Patron. Taylor Hart.
Resistncia, the Northwest Rap Game.
DJ Medina. Chad Cheddar.
Come on.
Northwest Rap Game.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we talking.
Sea Monster Radio, Mo Jams. It's your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Mojo Mondays. This is KZ of KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojo Mondays.
Just my opinion. God is inspiration. Music all day and all night. Saturdays on Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Hey, this is Paul Pearson. I've hosted the R&B show Star Time since the very beginning of Rainier Avenue Radio, and after years of featuring tracks from the 50s through the 80s, Star Time now plays R&B and hip-hop from the 1990s as well. A whole half century of soul, funk, hip-hop, and more. on Star Time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Seattle Parks and Recreation is hiring for a temporary seasonal laborer to help keep the parks clean this summer. A seasonal laborer makes almost $26 per hour and is assigned to a variety of work crews, including grounds maintenance, on a garbage packer truck, or on static assignment.
Please apply if you're interested in working outside in our city's parks at bit.ly/SPRL2023.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Welcome back to LidLine Sports. We've been talking about the men's and women's tournament, but right now, real quick, I just want to give out some quick shout outs. Nancy Conyers, thank you. Bill Walker Jr., yeah, good to have you back. I haven't heard from you in a few weeks. And I want to give a special shout out to my man, John Hughley. He hasn't been on, he's probably not listening right now, but he told me that his schedule changed, so he's working during our show. Okay. However, he does listen to us later on, so I just want to give him a shout out. And of course, I always want to shout out my man Michael Carter. I hope you recover fast. He's having a little knee issue that he's been taken care of. He had an MRI today, so I'm hoping that gets rectified real quick.
Speedy recovery.
So, of course, I always want to shout out my girl Doreen for listening. She's always tuning in, and I want to thank her for that.
And
so
Rhonda Dorsey's out. She's visiting my grandpa.
That's right. Man, how could I forget her? Because if I don't see,
exactly. That's why I say she's in Phoenix right now.
And she gave me some love on Facebook. Because I sent her a little. I had posted a picture of my mom because today was the day that she passed away back in '96. So she gave me some love for that. So I appreciate that, Rhonda. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Rhonda.
So NFL. What's been going on? Well, of course, we still got the Aaron Rodgers saga, but a bigger saga would be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He announced today that he asked the Ravens for a trade way back on March 2nd. So what do you think about that?
Man, this is a really interesting story that is starting to unravel over out of Baltimore. It clearly seems that they are really far apart on guaranteed money when it comes to Lamar. But now to hear that he's asked for a trade and to see how that's going to work out and what are the options, who's interested to make a trade for him. He's still on that. He's still on the franchise tag. But yeah, man, I actually wanted him to stay in Baltimore. I like what they do have going on over there. I like Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh. So yeah, it's gonna be, man, it's just really interesting. And like I said, I do hope that he gets his money, whatever the case may be with that. But I don't know. I heard the options are possibly the Atlanta Falcons. New York is still being thrown in there just in case something unravels.
Yeah, supposedly they've been kind of, in talks.
Interesting.
But
interesting.
I think they're eventually
sold on. Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. There was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I heard is an option.
Yeah, and the Colts today said that they will try to explore to get in trade talks with Baltimore for Lamar Jackson.
Interesting, man.
If you've been listening to LidLine Sports for any length of time, I've said this numerous times. I've said this last year, and I think I said it the year before, that Lamar Jackson wants out of Baltimore, and he's been wanting out of Baltimore. He just hasn't been trying to be the bad guy about it. He's been doing it quietly. He's been cooperative, right? But anytime they offer him anything, he's turned it down. And so, but he has the right to.
Yeah.
He's representing himself. So people are chastising him, or I think from what it looks like, it almost looks like the NFL's punishing him because he's not using an agent to negotiate, right? And give him a much harder time to figure out what's going to be done with him. What the choices are and what his options are, which is pretty unfair, I think.
Oh, definitely.
I don't like seeing a talent like him treated this way, because look, he's a generational talent, and we need to see that on the field. We don't need to see that on the sidelines. We don't need to see that in tabloids and things like that. We want to see him on the field, right?
Yeah.
Wherever it's going to be. But just get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy deserves it. Yes, he's been hurt. I understand that. But you know what? This is the NFL. Guys get hurt.
Exactly.
Right? So, and especially quarterbacks, So don't blame him for that. Oh, he's hurt, so he's not worth the money. That's wrong.
Yeah. And going back to, that point about him being his own agent and him being punished for that, I 100% agree. You hear a lot of analysts speak on how this could be a game changer if he's able to negotiate a contract without an agent and also get 100% guaranteed money.
Yes.
Everybody's saying how much of a game changer that is.
Right.
And then also, they're saying on the other side how agents are not going to like this if they're able to get that, if he's able to get that done without agent.
Right.
There's just so much, going behind the scenes. And, I just hate that, you're talking about billion-dollar companies that try to get in the way of player empowerment. It's not just the NFL, but it sucks to see how greedy these guys can be. And like I said, I agree with you. I do hope that he gets his money, and he's worth it. The Baltimore Ravens are nothing without Lamar Jackson. He's proven it by his winning percentage, getting them to the playoffs.
Yep.
And what they've done without him. So, I mean, I don't understand why this wasn't a big issue for Watson to get guaranteed money, but now all of a sudden that this has become, seems like what a big issue for him to not get guaranteed.
Well, the NFL is angry that Watson got what he got. They're not happy.
Okay.
So they're sending a message that, okay, that's an aberration. That's going to be the norm. So they're doing Lamar like that because of what happened with Deshaun Watson, pretty much. Is they're like, no. If Deshaun's getting 200 and something, we know Lamar's probably gonna get something more than that. We're not going there.
Yeah.
Right. That's what the NFL is saying to me. But I could be wrong, but we'll see. And now of all the teams that you mentioned, we mentioned the Colts, we mentioned Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay just didn't they get they got Baker Mayfield. So let's kind of scratch them out right now.
Okay.
Let's go with the Colts, the Falcons, maybe even Carolina, right? So and let's count out the Jets because it looks like they got their eggs in Aaron Rodgers' basket. So of those teams that we've decided on so far, which team do you think that he fits best, or would you like to see him play?
I like the Falcons. They're in need of a quarterback right now. There's some weapons over there. He's in Atlanta. I think that'll be also fun to see. You kind of get that Mike Vick aspect. So definitely like that.
So Baltimore and Atlanta have two distinct similarities. You know what that is?
What's that?
Well, both cities are majority black.
Yes.
Like heavy, like 70, 60, 70%.
Yep.
So that plays a lot into, where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And plus, let's face it, Atlanta could use a quarterback. They need one. So it's not like they have a quarterback and if Lamar goes there, somebody will get pushed out. No, they don't have one. That except for, a rookie from last year, Ritter. They got rid of Mariota, right? So that's a spot for him.
A dream would be, and I know it's not going to happen because they are set at their quarterback position. What it sounds like would be Miami. I would love to see him go back home.
Yes.
I would love to see him with all the weapons that they have. I would love to see that. That'll be fun.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
And I know my man Michael Carter would like that since that's his team. Okay. So, yeah, for sure. So we got big news out here in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's coming back. Tell us who it is.
Mr. Seahawks himself, Bobby Wagner.
Yes, Bobby Wagner has returned to the Seahawks fold, and everybody. I don't know anybody that's not happy about that.
Yeah.
How could you not be? How could you be unhappy with that? We are definitely ecstatic, And of course, Seattle made some moves. And you know what's good about some of the moves that Seattle has done so far? They still haven't moved from where they're drafting.
Yep.
So they picked up Devin Bush from my Steelers.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But yes, good pick up there too.
Yep. And then Draymond Jones from Denver.
Okay.
They brought back Jerron Reed from Green Bay and Kansas City.
Okay.
Okay. So, and of course, he's familiar with Seattle, of course, having played here, I think 5 years prior. So, what do you think? I think personally, I think these are pretty decent moves, and it shows that they are definitely looking to change that defense, which we definitely need because they got shredded up front last season. So they definitely addressed that. So, and I'm sure they're not done. I mean, at number 5, they got a chance to hopefully get Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, or Tyree Wilson. Those 3 could be the key guys to really start the Seahawks for the next 4 or 5 years of being dominant.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a guy like Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, which I would prefer Anderson, to be honest, first.
I agree.
Then Carter, then Wilson. But we'll find out. And of course, people always say, well, they might trade down, this is not the first time you heard me say this, but yeah, they traded down because they were in the mid-20s.
Yeah. And
you can get the same talent in 30s that you can in the 20s.
Yeah.
Like the difference between first rounders from 22 to 37, right? They're pretty much all even. It just depends on who you like.
Agree.
So,
and then also, this is probably like one of the quickest like rebuilds you see after a team just lost their star player. You go ahead and you go make it back to the playoffs with what you have. And like you said, they're adding on to what they did last year. I'm glad that they're not stagnant.
Right.
Because they could rebuild. They could have went that way, especially having a top 5 draft pick. But yes, they're trying to get back to where we once was a few years ago.
Yep.
So,
and then they made a couple of additions on the back end. Justin Love coming in from the Giants, who's a safety, who's very good. Insurance in case Ryan Neal decides to go elsewhere. Okay. Even though he was tendered, he could still go elsewhere if a team offers him a contract and the Seahawks do not match.
Okay.
Which I don't think will happen because the Seahawks definitely want to keep Ryan Neal. So, and then of course, hopefully Jamal Adams will be back unless they cut him for the June 1st. I hope that doesn't happen.
So, yeah.
He's only 25.
Yeah,
he's been hurt, but the guy, I think if you put him in a good spot, look, he could be a hybrid, right? He can play his safety. He could come up and play linebacker and rush the passer and whatnot. So we got a guy that can do some harm.
Agree.
Agree. So I wouldn't just dismiss him just so fast unless they get somebody in the draft and they feel that they can, he's expendable. I don't know. We'll find out next month because the draft is April 27th, which is a month from this date, and it's a Thursday.
Is it back in Vegas again?
I think it is. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I get on a plane that day, so.
Oh yeah. Hawaii.
Yeah.
Go ahead and rub it in.
I just said plane. You said all the Hawaii stuff. Yeah. Oh, and to make a correction from a couple of weeks ago, I told Rhonda that we were flying Hawaiian. No, we're flying Delta. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I love Delta.
Do you?
Yeah. I love
okay.
Delta.
Cool. I don't think I've ever flown them before. Maybe once.
Really? Yeah. It's customer service sometimes can be all over the place, but really comfortable ride. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, okay. Cool. So anyway, so that's about it for the NFL. So let's go into some OT, man.
Yeah. I mean, this week or last week has kind of, been about the return of some players or, hearing good news that players are on the return. To start with the LA Lakers, who actually have been playing really good basketball since the trade deadline and the moves they made.
Right. Well, they've had a particular player really play well too. Austin Reeves.
Oh man. Yeah, just to even spotlight that guy, man. We're talking about an undrafted player out of Wichita State, who has proven that he belongs in the NBA, and hopefully he gets paid like it this summer because man, he is a really good, talented basketball player. He is a big reason why they were able to stay afloat without LeBron James. Also, Anthony Davis has turned his play up, but LeBron James did return on Sunday against his fellow friend who got traded at the trade deadline, Patrick Beverly.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, after he got traded, the one thing he said is that, his biggest goal this year is to knock the Lakers out of the playoffs.
Yes.
So they won on Sunday. He gets another chance even on Wednesday.
Man. All right.
The Lakers will go to Chicago. LeBron looked fine. This was a crazy return. LeBron James said that doctors were basically telling him to get season-ending surgery and that he had a strained tendon in his foot, and they were saying that this is the fastest they've seen a particular injury like this heal and recover.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's okay? He went to like 3 doctors.
Yeah.
But did he go to, like after the first 2 said the same thing?
Yeah.
You go to the third one. Is he going to the third one trying to get a different answer and get the answer he
wants?
Yeah,
for sure.
So I don't know.
So no, I was about to say I agree with you that there is definitely I don't think he's 100% healthy.
No way. Can't be.
He's older. This is not 27-year-old LeBron James too. So yeah, I think it's still something.
How old is he now?
38.
Wow.
So this is something that I think that
I'm saying wow, he's 38.
I
I'm
know.
Way older. I got nerve, don't I?
So right now they are sitting in 9th place, which is the plan. They would be playing that single elimination game at home against OKC if the season ended today.
Ooh.
They go on a 5-game road trip starting in Chicago on Wednesday.
Man, what a bad time to go on
a long
road trip at the very end of the season.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And people will say, "Oh, well, look who they're playing." But just like you said, it's on the road and it's a road trip. You don't get to come back home in between or anything like that. They go to Chicago and then they go to Minnesota, who is playing really good basketball. They just got Karl Anthony Towns back on Sunday. And then after that, Houston and Utah, and then to end it back out, which is technically, I guess, not a road game, but they play LA Clippers on the road, but in Crypto Arena.
Right.
But yeah, it's not easy to win on the road. It's why it's kind of it's a success if you go 500 on the road in the regular season, because it's not easy to win on the road. So they are only looking at the standings. They're tied with OKC. They have the tiebreaker. They're only a half a game out of 10th place. Would you be able to guess who's in 10th place or who's in 11th place?
No.
The Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, yeah, I should have guessed that because that's one of my questions for you. What's wrong with Dallas?
I don't know. And I've watched them play. One thing's for sure. They are atrocious on defense now.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, the person who they lost in that trade who I would consider a defender is Dorian Finney-Smith. But I don't think he accounts for that much defensively for them to just be this bad all of a sudden a bad defensive team like this. They just got back Maxi Kleber, who's a good defender. I'm really confused on what's going on defensively. And now we all know, of course, that I also think that Kyrie and Luka Doncic don't have much chemistry on the floor yet. They're still trying to figure it out.
So Kyrie will be gone, right?
It's interesting because Dallas can't lose Kyrie for nothing.
And let me ask you this. Dallas does not make the playoffs. Jason Kidd gone.
That's a good question, man. I think it depends on what his relationship is with Luka like. If Luka advocates for him,
good point.
I think he will be back. But yeah, he will be. Now the clock will be ticking though. Now there needs to be results. We can't forget that he did just take this team to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in a long time. But yeah, I think goal number one, regardless of what happens off season, is to bring back Kyrie. You don't have a choice. You don't really have much salary cap flexibility to try to move around pieces. And at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving is still an elite talent. I think maybe just with the off season and a training camp of getting those guys on the same page would be really beneficial to them. But yeah, they're in trouble right now. You're talking about an OKC Thunder team who's been playing pretty decent ball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a monster, man.
Yes.
Minnesota Timberwolves are even moved out of the plan. And then the New Orleans Pelicans is back. They're playing good basketball.
Right.
We heard news that there's a possible chance that Zion could play towards the end of the season, which will be really pivotal games. So it's not going to be just, oh, well, yeah, we see Utah and Portland kind of laying an egg and, pretty much accepting they're not going to make the play-in.
Right.
It's not going to be easy just for Dallas to just make the play-in tournament. Speaking of Portland, I don't know if you saw, so Damian Lillard was shut down for the rest of the season.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that after one of their losses recently, he said in a press conference that he doesn't want to be a part of something where they're always looking towards next year around this time.
Or a rebuild.
Yes. How do you feel about those comments? And this is the guy who says Portland is home. And
yeah, I think those comments are warranted. It's like, okay, he's already proven his loyalty.
Mhm.
He's not only said it, but he's proven it time after time. And so to still have the same issues and not win, it gets, it gets to a point where enough is enough.
Exactly.
And look, he's, again, like Lamar, he's not trying to be a bad guy, right? Because he's beloved there, and rightly so. But he's trying, and he's trying to be respectful. But there comes a time where enough is enough.
Yeah.
Either put up or shut up, right?
Yeah.
So Portland has got to do something and be fair. I'm at the point where I don't believe players deserve to win. Like a lot of people think that, trade so-and-so to Phoenix because they're a playoff bound team and he deserves to try and beat the playoffs. No, he don't.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the NBA, man.
Yeah.
And it's your luck of the draw of where you are. If you can play, fine. And if you can lead your team to the playoffs, you good. But if you can't, but in this instance, I'm willing to say that he deserves to go elsewhere and try to win a title.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a little hypocritical, but this is a special circumstance because the guy has proven his loyalty time after time. And he even showed loyalty to Seattle when they won when he hit that last shot against OKC in the playoffs. He said that was for Seattle. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, 100% agree. And just like I think Rhonda Dorsey just said, he probably should have said that 2 years ago. I will say, as soon as they made that move to trade CJ McCollum, and don't get me wrong, Anthony Simons is a good young player,
right?
Young player. So now when you're telling me that you're going to throw money at this young player who's never played at the highest level that Dame has played on a big stage, you're still bringing in subtle pieces, but not enough to change the game. I thought that's when Dame should have saw the writing on the wall that maybe my time up in here is becoming so. And he's right. I know he said something in an interview that it's not all about winning championships. No, but as a competitor, you want to play on the biggest stage.
Yeah, you want to be able to try.
Exactly.
So but he deserves. I think this is one of the times where a guy actually deserves to be moved for his benefit. Not so much your own. Because he, like I said, he's been loyal. And then every year after year after year, I love Portland.
Yeah.
We all know he's from Oakland, right? But he ain't never said that he wanted to play for the Warriors or Sacramento. He's always said that he wants to be in Portland. And if they can win a championship in Portland, this is where he wants to be. So I commend him for that. But you know what? It ain't going to happen.
No, 100%.
It's just not going to happen there.
Yeah.
So they need to move him somewhere where he can do something.
Yeah, 100% agree. So that's something that I will definitely, be talking about after the season's over this summer.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a story all summer. Teams will definitely be calling in and, trying to get to see what's going on with Dame. But I agree with you. I do think that this is the summer that he will say his farewell and ask for a trade. And it sucks for the Portland Trailblazers because now I think this is also what they need. They need to go in a full 100% rebuild. So now you get the opportunity to collect as many assets as you can possible. for him and get to move forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Got news: Kevin Durant will be back on Wednesday. That made me really happy. The Suns have been not playing as well at basketball over these last week or two without Kevin
And
Durant.
then Ayton's been out too, right?
Yeah, he came back today. They're playing the Utah Jazz today. So it's good to see that team. Kyle Lowry has made it back. I think this is his first game in a while. But the Miami Heat has been playing really good too. So it's good to see that teams are getting healthy now at the right time. Besides one person who got hurt last week, Paul George, sprained his MCL. He's going to be out for the rest of the regular season, and it's questionable on when he's going to return in the playoffs. But that was a big blow. And you're right. I know. You're talking about a team who somebody's always hurt.
Always.
We're talking about a player that has been in and out the lineups and been hurt. It's just almost like it's inevitable with those guys and the Clippers. So
yeah,
that's another story, we'll have to pay attention to these next couple of weeks. But yeah, the main story and everybody just keep an eye on is, the play-in. We're down to the last week and a half of the season. So there's going to be some good games and meaningful games these last week and a half.
Yeah, for sure. Quickly, how far do you think the Sac Kings will go?
Man, the sky's the limit with them. I can't hold anything against them. They're a really good team, but I do think that their Achilles heel is they are really bad defensively. They're so good offensively that they can win games, but they are not good defensively. And that means everything come playoffs. And
come playoff time, yes.
Second seed, you're not getting no sleeper in the seventh seed. So they gotta figure out how to shore that up.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so and then of course back east seems a little more clear as far as
Like I said, the team that I've liked and they've made strides and they're doing it at the right time has been the Miami Heat. They've climbed all the way to the 7th seed. I think that they will take that 6th seed from Brooklyn, who is fighting.
Oh my God,
Mikal Bridges
they done fell off a cliff.
I don't get what's going on with Mikal Bridges and why he is just playing like he's Kobe Bryant mixed with Michael Jordan right now, man. Shout out to Mikal Bridges.
Yes,
Bridges,
big
man.
time. All right, so we're out of time, but we had a great time with talking about the tournament and everything. So next week, of course, the championship game will be going on. So don't not listen to us. Turn the sound down on the TV. Listen to us, and then enjoy the game. Yes, so see you next week. For Pep and O and Daniel Bellis, holla.